Pankaj sir, can you show your presentation, please?
Hello. Very good afternoon to all. So, after in the afternoon session after post lunch, we are meeting on the fifth day of this 21 days faculty development program. So today we have with us Dr. Pankaj Sharma sir, uh, who is joint director in ICR's National Institute of Biotic Stress Management, Raipur, Chhattisgarh. And he will be delivering his talk on sustainable rapeseed mustard production in India, its status and opportunity. I'll be reading his brief biodata. Sir, once again, I welcome on behalf of the organizers and the participants, and I feel privileged to recite your biodata to the all the participants. Dr. Pankaj Sharma, who is currently as a Joint Director in National Institute of Biotic Stress Management, Raipur, Chhattisgarh. And from past 1 year, he is being over there. Earlier, he was working as principal scientist uh, under plant pathology at Directorate of Rapeseed Mustard Research, Bharatpur, Rajasthan, since 2008 to 2023. Started his career as assistant professor in Department of Plant Pathology in Maharana Pratap University of Agriculture and Technology, Udaipur. And in 2008, he was selected as senior scientist at ICR, Directorate of Rapeseed, Mustard and Research. And his main being pathologist, he's concerned with the diseases associated with the rapeseed and mustard, particularly in the sclerotia stem rot in Indian mustard. And he has screened more than 5,000 Brassica germplasm, of which 3 germplasm were first reported and registered with the ICR NBPGR for sclerotia rot tolerance and resistance. Also, he has identified 81 geographical isolates of the same and were collected, maintained, and their morphological variability, its genetic diversity, and pathogenicity was established. And of which 65 isolates were deposited at National Repository in ICR NBAI. So, also, his recommendation based on that, the state has adopted and included in the state POP, that is integrated management of sclerotia rot through irrigation management, crop geometry, use of bioagents and foliar spray of fungicides, and became popular among the farmers who are cultivating mustard. Apart from that, he has reported 21 new diseases from India and worldwide, and it has been published in the reputed journals of national and international repute. Also, he is associated with the development of a variety, that is Brassica juneaceae variety, DRMR 116540, 4 white rust donors, and 2 high temperature tolerance at the seedling stage and terminal heat stress of Indian mustard. He was co-PI for CRP agrobiodiversity, cabin, then CRP molecular breeding, and consultant on the World Bank funded APART project in Assam. Also, he has completed the DST BBSRC Newton Baba project, which is associated with India, Australia, China project on oilseed for the Brassica improvement. And also he was PI for ICR Extra Mural Research project on sclerotia. Apart from his research, he has also guided 10 PG students for their MSc work in plant pathology. And to his feather of caps, he has almost bagged 42 different type of the awards. So he is the fellow of 8 professional societies and editor and reviewer of international reputed journals. To his credit, he has 125 research papers, proceeding papers, research notes, 23 number and almost 115 abstracts to his credit. He is the member of Plant Protection Committee on International Consultative Group for Research on Rapeseed, France. He is the member of Bureau of Indian Standards, that is BIS, as if we know. And also he is on the scientific panel of Food FSSI, that is Food Safety Authority of India. So while his research, he was invited by different universities, and also he has presented in different World Congress. To name a few, he has visited different countries and was the lead speaker for Melbourne, Australia, Ballarat, Australia. Then World Congress of Microbes in Beijing, China. Then International Rapeseed Congress in Canada. Then in GCIRC Technical Meet at Alnarp, Sweden. Then 15th International Rapeseed Congress in Berlin, Germany. And currently he has also visited Sydney, Australia for presentations in 16th International Rapeseed Congress. So also he is actively engaged with the extension activities among the farmers, closely associated with the KVK Chittorgarh under the aegis of MPUT Udaipur. And also he has, for the farmers, he has published more than 620 popular literatures and also delivered more than 300 TV and radio talks. And also he has been credited for and was the founder in charge for KVK Bansor under ICR DRMPR. So we are very fortunate to have a very learned and esteemed speaker today. So who will be delivering his talk on sustainable rapeseed mustard production in India, its status and opportunity. So I take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Sharma sir. Please start, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Am I audible properly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So very good afternoon to all the participants, and thank you, Mr. Who has given a large kind of introduction. It's not a brief one, and all the participants who are directly or indirectly connected with the agriculture. Maybe you are from veterinary or you are from other. As a human or a human being, we have also having one of the important need for our daily diet is the oil, edible oil. And among different 8 edible soils cultivated in the country, one of the important as our health wise is the one of the good oil is the rapeseed mustard oil. So my talk is on the sustainable rapeseed mustard production in India, status and opportunity. So before joining at Raipur, I was Bharatpur in rapeseed mustard last 15 years, and some of my work and my slides are there, which reflecting in this presentation. My slides are movable now. Anyone can tell that
Yes,
my
sir.
slides
Yes,
are moving or not?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So this is the first slide which is showing the oilseed production scenario in India. We know we are self-sufficient in cereals, all kind of food grains. Even now we are self-sufficient in the pulses, but every day we are having the scarcity. Every year we are increasing the scarcity of oilseed production. And in oilseeds, if we see our country, what status is there, you will find that Madhya Pradesh in the area, it is the first in total oilseeds, not in the rapeseed mustard. All the 8 edible oilseeds, Madhya Pradesh area is the rank 1. Rajasthan is the number 1 in the production of the total oilseed, and major is the rapeseed mustard. If we see that total production or total oilseed production in India is around 300 lakh hectares is the area, with the 395.93 lakh tons production is there. And if we see beginning from last 5 years, 2019-20 to the 2023-24, it is increasing. Area is increasing, like it was 27 lakh million hectares were there in the 1920, which is now 30 million hectare in the 23-24, and the production is also increased 33 million ton to the 39 million ton. And if you see the productivity, it is also increased. That was 1.2 ton is now 1.3 ton. Very little increase in the productivity. So if we see the present scenario of rapeseed mustard, it is now ranked first after a very long time, or can say the first time in the oilseed production. Among all the oilseeds, earlier the soybean was the number one, but now this year the rapeseed mustard is number one with the 13.16 lakh tons, 13.16 million ton is the production of rapeseed mustard this year, followed by soybean, that is all around nearby that one, 13 million ton, then groundnut 10.28, then castor is not the edible oil, another are the sesame, sunflower, linseed, safflower, niger seed. These are the minor oil seeds, and among all the oil seeds in the country, rapeseed mustard is contributing around 33% all among the total oil seed production. So what is the need of this? My talk is there is a requirement of edible oil, how the edible oil is very much important for us, because everywhere we are now consuming a lot. If we see the data, earlier data, only 10 to 12 kg per capita per year consumption was there in India, which is now increased and crossing the 20 kg per capita per year of the oil seed consumption of the oil. So if you see 5 years back, it was the net availability was 104 lakh ton, which is now around 122 lakh tons. And if you see the kind of import which we are taking of the oil seed was 156 lakh tons in 2018, is now increased to the 165 lakh tons. And if you see the consumption, it was 259 lakh tons 5 years back. It is increased to the 286 lakh tons very presently during last year only. So that is giving up to 20 kg per capita per income. And what edible oil we are consuming, you can see that we are having domestic requirement, which we are having is only 42%, and importing we are 58%. And these import of 58% is having 60% palm oil that is imported from the Indonesia, Malaysia, and few other countries. If you see soybean, we are importing 22%, and it is comes from the Argentina and Brazil. And if you see the sunflower, that is also import of 16%. It comes from majorly from the Ukraine, Argentina, and Russia. So this is the situation of last 5 years of the edible oil availability. Means even we are not producing 50% of our requirement, and that is only due to the, we are not saying that here we are not growing or we have declined the area or production productivity. Area is increasing, production and productivity is also increasing, but our consumption is increasing very fast. So that consumption giving these results that we are lacking 58%, and that depends on the different kinds of oil import. So what about the scenario of the edible oil which we are consuming? Palm oil highest we are consuming because highest it is importing. Soybean, that is followed by palm oil. Then number third is the rapeseed mustard, and followed by sunflower, cotton, peanut, and other oils. So now we comes to the rapeseed mustard. Rapeseed mustard is not a one or two crop. Rapeseed mustard is a group of crops which is having around 7 crops are there, and these 7 crops categorized, 2 crops are in the mustard, that is the Brassica gensea and Brassica carinata, and 5 crops are under rapeseed. So one of them important is the Brassica rapa, that is brown sarson, grown in the Kashmir area. Then Brassica rapa brown sarson, that is already told you in the grown in the Kashmir area. Then another is the Brassica nepus. Nepus is one of the rapa. It is having 3 species with the brown sarson, yellow sarson, eastern Uttar Pradesh is there, and one is the Toria. And important is the Brassica nepus, that is also known as the gobi sarson. And all over the world, the grown crop of the rapeseed mustard is the Brassica nepus. So Brassica nepus is the main crop of the if we see the whole world, but if you see our country in India, then it is the Brassica juncea. So Brassica nepus is gobi sarson, and another one is in the arid regions is grown in the Euroca sativa, not edible oil. But this is one of the important oil seed which is grown from western Rajasthan when the light rains are there, and that rains gives this kind of crop with zero fertility or low fertility is there, and they have harvested a good crop of the Euroca sativa, which is a industrial use. So why the rapeseed mustard? Because the Indian mustard oil contains the low amount of saturated fatty acids, palmitic and stearic acids, and high amount of monounsaturated fatty acid, that is oleic, icosanoic, and uracic acid, and polyunsaturated fatty acids like linoleic and the linolenic acids. So Indian mustard oil, which having minor drawback, is the high amount of the erucic acid. Our doctors telling that the erucic acid in our Asian continent and in Indian continent, we are having that erucic acid is good for health. But as per the Western countries, erucic acid is not good, so they are not growing the Indian mustard, that is Brassica juncea. They are growing the quality mustard, means the Rapeseed, that is the having the less than 2% of the erucic acid. Means here we our varieties are having 40 to 57% of 40 to 57% of this erucic acid, while we require for a standard that is the less than 2% of the erucic acid. So less than 2% erucic acid will be there, then it will be the single zero, and if the low glucosinolate will be there, then it will be called the cannula or double zero. Double zero. So these 0 and double zero are the particularly in the canola quality, and it is in the rapeseed. But now in our breeders in our country, they are also producing the low erucic acid, that less than 2%, like Pusa Charisma, Pusa Mustard 21, Pusa Mustard 22, RLC1. These all varieties are having the international standard, that is the less than 2% erucic acid. My meaning here is that if we remove that the erucic acid, then there will be no pungency in the oil. Means whenever any person who going to purchase the mustard oil, he just rub one small drop of oil on his hand and he smell that one. And that pungent smell is due to the erucic acid. And if it is less than 2%, then there will be no pungency. So if we entire crop of our Indian mustard become the low erucic acid, then who will be the buyer? Because the buyer of the mustard is wants the pungency, and pungency, everyone tells that the pungency having the good for the health. So that pungency is needed for the high erucic. So high erucic, we are having much higher, means 40 to 57%, we can reduce it to up to 10 or 20%. That is also desirable. So breeders are doing that work. And the mustard oil is high in omega-3, free from cholesterol and trans fats, and have a very low N6 to the N3 ratio is the very low. So compared to other oils, if I can suggest you, that is the best oil in among all the edibles oil is the mustard oil. And mustard oil, different oils are there, refined, kachi ghani, and all that one. So this is a long discussion. If anyone interested can share his views and can ask that one also. So if we see the rapeseed mustard in the world, what is the scenario of the world? So entire world is growing the rapeseed mustard, and rapeseed mustard is only limited into the China or India, but majorly they are growing the rapeseed. So area is around 43 million hectare with the total rapeseed, and production is around 88 million tons, and yield per kg yield kg per hectare is 2 ton per hectare. Means the good all the countries which are particularly Canada, number one is Canada, second is the China, third one is the India. So Canada and China, they are producing a lot, but European Union countries, they are also producing a big. Their productivity is up to 4 tons, means just average of the world, they are doubling the total productivity, that is around 4 ton. Means like Germany, they are producing 39 quintal per hectare. Some countries like Poland, they are producing 30 quintals per hectare. But when we see in our country, it is lacking. And the reasons are different that we will discuss. So percent share of countries, if you see, then In area, we are contributing 23%, and in production, we are contributing only 14%. You see here the diagram, how it is reflecting. European Union, which I am telling you, all the European Union, excluding UK, that is area is only 16%, but they are producing 25%, means their productivity is much higher. China, the same, how much area is there, the same kind of production is there. Russia, similar. Australia, similar. Canada, similar. Only the difference is here that we are having a good area, 23%, but our production is 14%. European Union having area 16%, their contribution is 25%. So these are very drastic two countries are there. And if you see in India, gradually we are increasing area production and productivity. 5 years back, it is only 6 million hectare, is now 9.12 million hectare, and the production which was 9 million ton is now 13 million ton, and the productivity was 1.3 ton is now 1.4 ton. So comparatively, the European Union, the productivity is low, but the crop species is different, crop duration is different. We will discuss in the last slide that one. And if you see the oilseed crops share in the India, you will find that the contributing only area for rapeseed mustard is 30%. However, it is contributing 33% of the total production. Soybean is having area of 43%, but contribution is only 32%. And this year, the rapeseed mustard also crossed the soybean area and production. So if you see the state-wise, you will find one of the dominant state in the rapeseed mustard, can say only mustard, is the Rajasthan, which is having around 40% of area with 45% of the production, followed by the Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and Haryana, which are having area of around 14% and 8%, and similar kind of production is there in the UP, MP, and Haryana. So my one or two slides are just for seeing the strategic planning, what kind of strategic planning we have to develop for the rapeseed mustard. And if you see, if the area is around less than any district in Rajasthan, which is having less than 50,000 hectare area in that district, there is 7 districts are there which are having the low productivity, that is the 12 quintal per hectare. Medium means 12 to 16 quintals, there are 8 districts are there, and more than 16 quintal per hectare, there are the 3 districts are there. If the area is higher, around 50,000 to 1 lakh hectare, only one district is having less than 12 quintal, one district is 12 to 16 quintal, and 6 districts are there more than 16 quintals. And same if the area is more than 1 lakh hectares, like Bharatpur, Alwar, and some Tonk area are there, they are having only 2 districts are with less than 12 quintal. Medium level is in 2 districts, and high level is also in 3 districts. So this is about the Rajasthan. And if you see in Uttar Pradesh, 32 districts are there which are having less than 10,000 hectare area, and 12 districts are which are having 12 to 15 quintal per hectare, and more than 15 quintal, only 5 districts are there. If the area is 25,000 hectare or more, in that case, there is only 3 districts which are having only 15 quintal per hectare. If we see the same trend in the Madhya Pradesh, where the less area is there, less production is there, so 27 districts are there, majority districts which are having the low productivity, they're less than 10 quintal. High productivity, that is more than 12 quintal, are only the districts, only 2 in the 10,000 hectare area, 50,000 hectare, 4 districts, and 2 districts only in the more than 50,000 hectares area adjoining to the Rajasthan. And in Haryana, you will see that totally changed, where it is also not having a much area in the Haryana, but if you see the area which is less than 25,000 hectare, it is crossing 2 ton, means 20 quintal per hectare, 4 districts. And in the area where the 50,000 hectare area is there, one districts are there which is producing more than 20 quintals. So you see in the different states how variability is there in the production trends. And what strategy, taking the 247 districts of the country, high area with high productivity is only 12 districts. High area is 30 districts, high productivity is 45 districts. So strategic intervention required in the 134 districts. So that area expansion in 44 districts, productivity we have to increase in 80 districts, area and productivity we require to increase, both increase in the 72 districts. So likewise, we have developed the strategic planning how the can increase the rapeseed mustard production, and in last 5 years it is giving a good kind of jump in the rapeseed mustard production in the country. But however, there are constraints in the rapeseed production is the uncertainty of the acreage due to the climatic, biotic and abiotic stresses, natural resources, policy, MSP is there. Then erratic rainfall means after September rains, farmers majorly grow the rapeseed mustard in the October first fortnight. And if it is prolonged rains are like there like this year, then they will be delayed in the mustard sowing. So that mustard can be shifted to other crops if the delayed sowing will be there, because delayed sowing in the mustard is also adverse to the crop, like different insect and diseases which can affect the crop and the productivity decreases. Imbalanced fertilizer use, poor plant protection measures, poor quality of groundwater, inadequate moisture, high temperature during crop establishment. Not this year, but many years it was happened when the uh, rainfall is not there in the month of after mid of September, then the high temperature will be there, and that high temperature during germination also affects the crop establishment. Complex existing and emerging disease and pest scenario, different number of diseases. One of the sclerotinia stem rot, one is the important disease. Then aphid is one of the important insect which is causing heavy losses in the mustard. So low cost input technologies which we have given to the farmers, and farmers are following their technology, that is the selection of appropriate cultivars. More than 250 rapeseed mustard varieties are there in the country, and these are the specific for the agroecological situation and use of certified seeds. Means availability of seed is also there, number of private players are also there, and agroecological dependent varieties are also there for the mustard. Specific adaptation to the stresses means high temperature, like high temperature it is there, if any disease resistance required there, so number of varieties are there. Cropping systems, optimum seed rate and spacing, optimum time of seeding, seeding techniques means row to row and plant to plant spacing, need-based judicious use of fertilizers, recycling of organic waste, use of organic manures, timely weeding, supply of irrigation water and improved method of its application, and plant protection measures. So these are the low cost input technologies. And particularly if we discuss in different disciplines like crop production, we are having the improved agro production technology, means the release variety. They are also tested for their production technology under different agroecological situations, like pearl millet cluster bean mustard sequence followed by pearl millet black gram mustard cropping sequence for the most remunerative under rain-fed condition. Different cropping systems of the higher remuneration are the maize mustard system, green gram mustard system. So different cropping systems are also there. Incorporation of mustard residue and the suspenia grain manuring, that in the fallow mustard is there. So they are also one of the good cropping system. Then use of azotobacter as a seed treatment. So these all are the different agro crop production and efficient systems of the cropping for each producing states of mustard is also there, like in Rajasthan, pearl millet mustard, pearl millet urad bean mustard for irrigated, for rain-fed, pearl millet cowpea mustard, sorghum mustard, then the pearl millet mustard. For Haryana, early fodder for the animals, then the mustard, then groundnut pearl millet mustard, then maize bajra pearl millet mustard. So likewise, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, everywhere the efficient cropping systems are there. Another some of important findings with the crop production or good agronomic practices are the application of vermicompost, different fertility levels for the NPK, different intercropping for the different agroecological zones, seed treatment with the different kind of cultures to increase the uh, productivity of the mustard as well as the use efficiency of the different fertilizers. Use of sulfur is one of important, boron important, that is recommendations are also there, zinc is important, and the use of irrigation water. It is very hardy crop is there. If many areas which are not having any single irrigation facility, they can also grow the mustard and they can harvest good harvest from the mustard. But if you are having one life-saving irrigation, then it will be more beneficial for the crop as well as for the farmer for getting the good yield. Line sowing earlier, the everywhere, particularly in Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Assam, northeastern states, broadcasting was there. So that broadcasting is now changing to the line sowing, and line sowing resulted into higher production and productivity, low incidence of disease and insects. Then the Orobanki, one of the important mm, parasitic weed, and the management is underway, and some of weedicides are also there used as a, like pendimethalin is there, isoproteron is there. So these all of application of these weedicide is also managing weeds in the rapeseed mustard. Particularly, all the weedicides are used only for the pre-emergence conditions. In crop protection, seed treatment with trichoderma, seed treatment with carbendazim, irrigation management, and foliar spray of different bioagents or fungicides, using that one effective in the management of stem rot, using newer generation fungicides like hexaconazole, propiconazole, also effective in different diseases. Use of zinc sulfate, mancozeb, imidacloprid for the painted bug, dimethoate, NSK, neem seed kernel extract for the, or neem oil for the management of mustard aphid is there. Technology assessment, dissemination, different kind of, now the time is of AI, so different geographical, graphical user interface, GUI based expert tools also developed for fertilizer application and for others kind of insect disease management like one. For capacity buildings, every year the broadcasting of the radio Krishi Shiksha program for the mustard, number of frontline demonstration for the farmers for show the improved production and protection technologies. So now after taking all these things, the yield gap, where we found that the existing yield gap in rapeseed mustard is around 26%, and this range from 22% to 219% in some states, and the gap is reduced 26% at present is 10%. In next 10 years, if we reduce it by 10%, then we can harvest additionally 1.87 million ton of the rapeseed mustard. So which can be contributed around 0.65 million ton of edible oil kitty of the country. So mass campaign for the optimum use of edible oil as per the ICMR. ICMR means Indian Council of Medical Research is recommended only 12 kg per person per year the use of edible oil. But now we are consuming 20 kg plus per person per year. So we have to, not only we are depending, always you will be depend on the oil seed, we have to also reduce the consumption of the edible oils. If we can if you know the time when the Green Revolution was not there, and our Honorable Prime Minister at that time, Lal Bahadur Shastri, was there, we are very scared in the food grain production. And what was there, if you everyone knows, that there was Prime Minister, all the people of country, that one day you keep fast for to take our food grade production some kind of there. So at that time, many people who knows that period, they know, and they say that there was a fast, and that was the Shastri Somvar. So all the people from country doing the Shastri Somvar means they are not consuming any food grain on that day. They are doing the fast. Don't know how much it is contributed, but likewise, if we can consume in a week 1 time or 2 time the oil without oil food, means we will not take any oil in the food in entire 1 week, 1 time only. Then we can also help the country for this kind of import of the palm oil. So palm oil is not good for the health, and we have to avoid the consumption of palm oil also. So we have to see that how we can reduce the consumption of per capita per year consumption of the edible oil. So how we can narrow this yield gap is the sustainable crop resource management, then farm mechanization, refinement of location specific by intensive IPM strategies under climate change, then demonstration and capacity building. Some already we have discussed. And if we see the strategy, then how we will make productivity enhancement we require, that is only 1.4 ton, 14 quintal is there. Sustainable crop management we require, enabling policies, MSP we require so that farmers can attract to the rapeseed mustard crop. Narrowing the yield gap we will discuss, and the area expansion, particularly horizontal expansion we require in the paddy fallow areas. So what research programs are going on the improving the crop productivity, climate, genetic management is there for the better genetics, better management, particularly water, nutrient, pest and disease management. Then the prioritized research programs, genetic enhancement of stress tolerance, particularly during the normal and moisture stress condition, particularly the heat tolerance in the Indian mustard during the sowing time and during the harvesting time. Widening of the gene pool with the interspecific and intergeneric hybridization, resynthesis of Indian mustard, because we are not having very having narrow gap. We are not having much diversity in different brassicas genesea varieties or crops. So breeding for yield and quality enhancement, and that is the augmentation, characterization, evolution of mustard germplasm, and more than 6,600 sessions which are different species of brassica are there, are maintained and are under the different kind of coordinating centers of AICRP, which they are evaluating. Myself, I have evaluated for Sclerotinia stammeret more than 5,000 germplasm of the brassica genesea. So number of germplasm also registered, and with the Bharatpur Institute, there are more than 25 germplasm for the different traits. They have germplasm registered, and that is used for the different breeding programs. So hybrid is very much important for the Indian mustard, but hybrid is particularly through the utilization of diverse source of CMS system, enhancing level of heterosis is there, improvement, narrow gap is there particularly. So hybrids, they are also having only 5 to 7% of the difference with the improved varieties only. So it is not like a maize or not like a pearl millet that your conventional varieties which is giving only 20 quintal and hybrids giving 50 quintal. If the conventional variety is giving 20 quintal, then hybrid will be around 20 to 23%. So no much higher is there. If good agronomic practices are there, then conventional varieties, they can also give at par or more than the hybrids in the mustard. So some biotechnological interventions is also required for the genetic transformation of the brassica genesea, for disease resistance, for QTL mappings of the different traits, biotic and abiotic, and for the RNAs, RNAi constructs for the orobanchi, particularly and weed which is having increasing day by day in the particularly the arid zone areas of the western Rajasthan, particularly adjoining districts to the Haryana, and entire Haryana is affected by the orobanchi. So how we can enhance the resource use efficiency? So resource use efficiency, use of organics is required, standardization of RCTs, mustard-based cropping systems, particularly for semi-arid conditions in Rajasthan, characterization and classification of soil site conditions, then long-term fertility experiments, and efficient water management is also one of the enhancing resource use efficiency in the rapeseed mustard. Resource conservation, we require the surface seeding is there, so zero till, particularly in the paddy fallow areas. And we have developed from Bharatpur Center, we have also taken this grant of the technology from the ICR. We have developed a mustard seeder. This mustard seeder you can see in this photograph. By this machine, because the seed size is very low and farmers generally grow the mustard with the wheat seeder, where the wheat they are growing. So same seeder they are using, and they are only change the numbers like 3, 4, 5. So by that machine, we are consuming the seed quantities more than 7 or 8 kg per hectare. By this machine, we can reduce the seed quantity by 2 kg, 3 kg per hectare, and giving a proper spacing, plant to plant spacing. You can see the side plot is also there, where easily maintain the plant population without extra thinning or without extra labor work. So intensification of brassica production system is also required. More crop per year suitable to agroclimatic situation, incorporation of legume cropping system, more soil surface cropping is also, covering is also required, like gram mustard 9:1 ratio. The row is there, barley mustard can grow. So likewise, we can increase the mustard area and production. Sulfur nutrition is one of the important, where single superphosphate the farmers are giving to the crop instead of the DAP, that is giving the good results, good oil content. So scientists, they are also screening the germplasm for the sulfur use efficiency and role of sulfur. We know that it is recognized, and it is the fourth major nutrient in addition to the NPK. And if we see the countrywide, 120 districts are deficient in the sulfur. Out of 8 are in the Rajasthan, 17 in UP, and 20 in MP, and 6 in Haryana. So we have to improve the sulfur nutrition to these important oilseed crop. Integrated nutrient management, we have also required management of biotic stresses, particularly sclerotinia, stem rot, white rust. Then another, some of important insects like aphid, pentid bugs, these are also important. Oil quality we have to also improve. As I earlier in my slide, I have told you less than 2% erucic acid. So number of varieties now we are developing for the low erucic acid. So one of customer which require the canola quality oil, we can give from the Brassica agency only. So designer quality, Brassica oil quality is also underway, and we are having number of screening of germplasm for the value addition of the Brassica agency. Development of decision support software. Now the time of Android mobiles and all that one. So we have to give the farmers the decision support system when they have to give the spray for any disease, any spray for the insect, or when they have to go for harvest. So likewise, different decision support systems scientists they are developing, and in time being we also having the different kind of energy water balance, disease, insect pest detection, and development of forecasting models through these decision support softwares. One of the important is the capacity building of our farmers. So technology assessment and dissemination. So application of software for the information management, participatory extension for dissemination of the technology, and the number of varieties, as I have earlier mentioned, more than 250 rapeseed mustard varieties have been, 78 rapeseed mustard varieties developed from the state varietal release committees, and the 6 varieties, or number of varieties are more than 10 varieties are also from the Bharatpur. So trade specific varieties are also developed, like high temperature tolerant, late sown, drought tolerant, white resistant, salinity tolerant, low erucic. Double low means where the glucosinolate and erucic acid both are low. Non-traditional areas where we are growing first time in the mustard, like NEH areas, where some varieties, short duration varieties are there. Then some of hybrids are also there with the private companies and public sector. So if you see in the seed chain, number of varieties are there which are available for different states, like Rajasthan, more than 27 varieties are there, Uttar Pradesh 10. Likewise, we are having the number of varieties for the each state. Important varieties for the NEH region and non-paddy fallow kind of area where that late harvesting is there. So we require the 100 days, 105 days crop we require. So Pusa mustard 25, 28, NRCHP 101, YSH 401. These are all are the varieties which are having good potential under 100 to 110 days. Now the issues after the gaps are there that we have also we have discussed, but one of it is the important is the poor quality of irrigation water and the value chain. Means in the particularly in some of area, still farmers after harvesting of the mustard where they have to sell, they don't know. There is no any market, particularly NEH states and others. Only the middlemen they purchase, and they purchase is a very low price. So farmers are not benefited with this crop. So value chain means the development of entire value chain, growing of mustard to the taken out the oil from the mustard seed. That is the entire value chain. So now the entire value chain is also developing in some of the states. And the area expansion, if we see the tapping the rice fallow areas like particularly Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Assam, this is the major area where we can grow the mustard after harvesting of the paddy with the short duration varieties. And likewise, we can increase the area of rapeseed mustard under your sustainable strategy. So these are the rice fallow areas, Eastern UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Assam. Intercropping is there. Traditional areas are there. Non-traditional areas like northern Telangana, parts of Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka, they are also growing for their routine use of daily use of the mustard for their culinary purpose. Strengthening of extension, that is capacity building, is also required, and you will see that at least 6,000 FLDs and 1,000 CFLDs should be taken up every year. But this year, you will be surprised that Government of India this year, when the National Mission on Oilseed is going on, more than 10,000 frontline demonstrations will be there on the rapeseed mustard in the country. So that gives a good impression to all the farmers with the new production and protection technologies. So extensive dissemination of information using print, electronic, and social media is also required. Then hybrid varieties, which is having the oil yield potential, are there. Multi adversities, biotic, abiotic, these are also there. Nutrient efficient, particularly sulfur acquisition, enhanced water productivity varieties are also there. Then some of requirement is the policy, minimum support price, market linkage to better price, and these particularly some development of infrastructures like micro irrigation, drying storage, seed hubs, value chain demonstration, more number of value chain demonstrations we require. So specific strategies we will not discuss one. You can see how we can go for the seed replacement rate. It is now around 70%. By 2 years, we are going to increase it by 80%. And within by our Viksit Bharat, we will be able at that time 247. We will 100% of the seed replacement rate in the rapeseed mustard. So likewise, different strategies, specific strategies developed for to increase the rapeseed mustard production in the country. And mechanization, as I have told you, very important. However, we are having a small holdings are there. We are not having big holdings like European countries. But in the small holdings, if we use the power sprayers, if we use the small combined threshers, then that mechanization gives the kind of early harvesting, timely harvesting. Suppose some thunderstorm is there and you are not having any kind of combined harvester, at that time damage of crop is will more. During harvesting of the mustard, entire labor will engage in the manual harvesting of the mustard. So scarcity of labor is also there during harvesting. So mechanization in this sense is required very much. Mechanization in the weeding, you can see a lady using the rotary wheel kind of weeder, which can give a percolation to the soil also and removing the weed. So such kind of drudgery reduction kind of implements we require. This tractor operated, which I have told you, the seeder is there, which gives the good spacing, plant to plant spacing, row to row spacing. This kind of mechanization we need at a large scale. Now some trait specific varieties for the different traits we have also developed, and these are useful for the farmers in particular areas. So now we are targeting 1.32 million ton mustard oil production by taking 4 lakh additional area under the mustard cultivation. Around 10 lakh hectare is under the rice fallow and 6 lakh hectare with the irrigation or residual moisture is there. 4 lakh hectare area if we brought under mustard cultivation, then we are planning 50,000 first year, 1.5 lakh hectare second year, and 2 lakh hectare in the third year. So that also cost also calculated around 28 crore rupees. Then as I have earlier discussed you, seed hub, 8 seed hubs are already in the progress where the seed production is taken over. Mustard value chain is also developed in 9 places, particularly in the Jharkhand, Arunachal, and in Rajasthan, Manipur, Assam. These value chain also developed. If you see the FLD frontline demonstrations, you can see the potential improved varieties, what potential they are having in the FLDs. In Haryana, 27 quintals. However, national average is only 14 quintal. And you see in Haryana, improved practices of one variety is giving 27 quintal. And in Rajasthan, 24 quintal, Punjab 20 quintal, Gujarat 19 quintal, MP. Means if you see up to Himachal Pradesh, there are national average at par varieties are there. So the frontline demonstration, they are showing the good potential. So we have to focus on the good agronomic practices. Likewise, one of important aspect is the honeybee. Means honeybee is one of the important, which is because rapeseed mustard is often cross-pollinated crop. So the honeybee movement will be there, then the production and productivity are also increased. And additional income from the honey is also there. So India in 2021-22, they produced the 133,000 metric tons of the honey, and that is the second to the China. India is also one of the world's top honey exporters and exported around 75,000 metric ton of honey in 21-22, and which returned us the 1,221 crore rupees from the honey only. The major market of Indian honey are the Germany, USA, UK, Japan, France, Italy, Spain, all the European countries they are taking, and particularly they are asking the honey from the mustard. So we are having a good scope of apiculture with the rapeseed mustard crop. So as I have told you that honey bees are the reportedly enhance the 15 to 20% of the seed yield of the mustard. That is the additional benefit to the farmers if he is keeping the bee boxes. One thing many times you have heard, but only just I am not giving any opinion about the GM mustard, but only because we are discussing the mustard and it is always highlighted about the GM mustard. Just I am telling you what is the GM mustard. GM, genetically modified, is the technology which can bring about targeted change in the crop varieties, and it is the herbicide tolerant, means the hybrid plants that result from the crossing of genetically diverse parents generally demonstrated high yield and the wider adaptation. Why we require GM hybrids? Hybrid seed production requires an efficient male sterility and fertility restoration system. And this GM, which is under the Supreme Court for their kind of any yes or no, it is having the Barnage bar star system, which provide an alternative route for the hybridization of in mustard that is robust and address the sterility breakdown problems. Herbicide tolerant trait in both the Barnage female and bar star male lines is to be exploited. Means after GM mustard, if you want to give any post-emergence herbicide for management of any weed, you can easily spray that one for the, because it will be tolerant to the herbicides. So this is the GM mustard, and the situation of GM mustard in country, it is approved in 2002 in India. First GM crop in the cotton it was given, and now in rapeseed mustard, more than after 25 years, their introduction, GM crops are still globally grown in the 29 countries of 172 countries, and 91% of GM crops area continues to be just 5 countries, mainly 5 countries growing: the USA, Brazil, Argentina, Canada, and India. India is not there. More than only 91% of GM crops area continues to be just 5 countries. India is not there. Most countries of Europe and Japan, Israel, Russia, Malaysia, these are not growing. European countries, they are not growing GM crop. This is my last slide, and this is about the why our productivity of rapeseed mustard is low as compared to the Germany or any European countries. You will see that how the crop is grown in the other countries. European countries means France, Germany, these are Poland, these are the European countries. Here the crop duration means the crop is grown in the 330 days, means in the entire 365 days, the crop is grown in the 330 days, means the sowing will be in August, September, and harvesting will be in the July. And total photo period in the 330 days, In Germany, it is getting 1,416 hours of the photo period the crop is getting. Then the yield is 39 quintal. So if you calculated yield kg per hectare per day, then the Germany kg per hectare per day yield is coming 11.9 kg, 11.9 kg. And if you yield is calculated as a kg per hectare per photo period hour, means more than 1400 photo period hours are there, then the yield is only 2.8 kg per photo period hour in the Germany. If you come in Australia, the crop is 150 days. In China, it is 220 days. Canada, 120 days. And in India, the crop is 140 days. Means our crop is harvesting around 3 to 4 months, even more earlier than the 140 days. So 38% time of the year is used in the crop, where the other countries, they are European countries, they are using 90% of the year, total years, days they are consuming for the crop. So only 38% year of the crop is there, 140 days, grown in September, October, and harvested in March, April. Photo period we are getting is much higher compared to 1,400 of Germany. We are getting photo period 1,600, and we are getting yield of 13 quintal this year. And yield kg per hectare per day is 8.8 kg per hectare per day, and per photo period is 0.7 kg. So if we can summarize this slide, we can say that their crop species is different. They are growing Brassica nepus, that is the rapeseed, and we are growing the Brassica gentiana, means the Indian mustard. So yield potential of the both the Brassica species are totally different. We cannot compare with the Brassica gentiana and Brassica nepus. However, we are growing Brassica nepus in Punjab and Haryana, some part of Punjab and Haryana, where the more cold days are there. So this crop require more cold days. So in entire, particularly if we can say in Rajasthan, Haryana, or we can say MP, UP, we cannot grow the rapeseed because it is a long duration crop. We cannot take this crop because it will go under the forced maturity and seed size will be reduced. So likewise, we can say that this is the situation with the Brassica gentiana. However, we are having the potential yield of our different crop varieties up to 3 tons, means 30 quintals per hectare. So if we can fulfill our gap with the gap, means the gap with the good agronomic practices, then we can easily harvest more than 20 plus quintal per hectare in the mustard in the coming years. So thank you very much. I think I am on time, and this is all about the sustainable production of rapeseed mustard in the country. And this is the one slide where we worked in the Assam for the apart project, and this is the 5th year of that project. We started from 40 to 50,000 hectare area very early 5 years back, which increased up to 4 lakh, more than 5 lakh hectare area in the paddy fallow of Assam. And this is one of the field where you can see the mustard grown with good flowering and good harvesting. We are harvesting here around 10 to 12 quintal per hectare harvesting in the Assam. So thank you very much. And my slides, if any question you are having, I am happy to take that questions.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah, I have two queries rather, I can say. One is that the honey we are exporting to other countries. Which country standards we do meet? Is it in European or Gulf countries?
You want to say that we are importing or we are exporting? What you want to ask?
Exporting the honey we are exporting. In which
Yeah,
region
we are
we are exporting?
honey we are exporting to particular the European countries.
Okay. Do we follow the protocols of European standards then?
Yeah. Because we are not having GM here. Maybe
Okay.
one
And
of the European countries, they are not growing GM crop. So maybe if our crop will be GM, they will refuse or they will accept our honey. We don't know, but still they are accepting our honey because it is a kind of not organic, but it is a kind of honey with very low insecticide or fungicide pressure. There is no any kind of residue of any kind of pesticides is there.
yeah, the other question I do have is regarding the intensification. Like you presented a last slide of apart. So I was associated with IRI for quite long, almost 6 years. I was based in Philippines and in Eastern UP under CISA project also. So I have led many programs in CISA. So what is the
Okay.
role of intensification, mechanical intensification that have governed the cropping system in the region?
Particularly if you can see in the paddy fallow areas, I will give one example of Assam. Large fields are there, and large fields they are having the residue moisture after the paddy harvest. They are having a sufficient fertilizer is there. So without using any kind of a new dose of fertilizer, only we require only seeding. Means we require only quality seed that is can matured in the 100 or 110 days only, and we require the mechanization, so that intensification with the mechanization will be there. So in that large area we can grow the crop with only the kind of seeders which can zero seed drill kind of seeders will be there, so that can grow directly to the without any kind of removing of the earlier harvest. Another one is the harvesting. We require combined harvesters, so that because there are high temperature